The president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy is Dr. Jasser. He's one of the most courageous people out there that you will ever listen to or hear, or if you get the honor to meet. Clinton said refugees coming into the United States that would go through tough vetting. And Dr. Jasser, we have the recent Wikileaks dump that's showing Clinton, watch this, in 2013 said that Jordan, the country of origin, can't possibly vet all those Syrian refugees. They don't know if jihadists are coming in along with legitimate refugees. So, yes, helping women and children, we get it. But is there a double standard here? What's going on here?
Well, Liz, it's beyond a double standard. I think that speech from 2013 in Chicago shows that she's completely deceptive. She knows behind the scenes, privately, she knows about the threat of jihadists and Islamists. But publicly, she uses us Muslims as a prop for her political identity politics, that we're victims, this is not about America, etc. When in fact, anyone who claims that we're trying to keep America safe from the ISIS threat, from the jihadis that we're not vetting. So on the one hand, she says there's no way to vet them and Jordan isn't doing it. On the other hand, she says we can't block all Muslims. Well, we should block Islamists. And I think that's been the evolution that Mr. Trump went through, is that ultimately it's not about Muslims, it's about the Islamists. That could be 20 to 30%, and then we would start having a more fair proportion of Christians, Yazidis, and others coming in. But one more point, Liz, is that in Syria, if she really cared about the Syrians, she would have been truthfully rough and tough against the Russians, against Assad and others. They're not treating the cancer at its root, and then they want America to just sort of surrender to this influx of refugees because they can't do a foreign policy that allows the Syria solution to solve itself. Yeah,
there's a lot of debate about, have a safe zone there over in the Middle East, have more of the Gulf states taking in refugees. They know the refugees know the language there. Why remove them from their home? Dr. Jasser, there was also debate, also last night debate. Trump was saying, what's with not using the term Islamic radical terrorism? Is Hillary Clinton right that if you use that, if you call it what it is, that basically causes ISIS to, create more recruits?
Oh, actually, she's not only wrong, it is deceptive, and she actually uses the term jihadist privately, as she did in Chicago and elsewhere. Arabs and Muslims use that term to know who the Islamic movements are. You can't define moderates and reformists like myself unless we have a seat at the table of Islamic reform. The Islamic Republic of Iran is a terror state that calls itself Islamic. She doesn't have a problem calling them Islamic, or the Wahhabis of Saudi Arabia Islamic. She talked about caring about women's rights, but yet her Clinton Foundation seems to not worry about women's rights in Gulf states or Islamic states. So there is a deep hypocrisy, an apologetic for, and by the way, the most offensive thing she said last night was about, we don't want to offend our allies across the world by calling them Islamic. Well, the allies she's talking about are the dictators and tyrants and theocrats of the governments that filled the coffers of the Clinton Foundation, rather than the Muslim reformists and the revolutionaries that are trying to change those governments.
That's an important point. And also, and you make the good point too, Dr. Jasser, that the real war on women is happening with Islamic jihadis, right? And how they treat women. Dr. Jasser, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Next up, we've got a media bias.